welcome to the deep dive. Now, if you've always kind of assumed that financial success, well, it hinges on complex math, maybe a fancy degree, or just being some kind of genius, get ready for a totally different perspective.
Yeah, that assumption that wealth equals smarts. That's where a lot of people get tripped up, I think. The material we looked at for this deep dive is fascinating because it basically shows financial success has, well, almost no link to traditional IQ.
Right.
Dealing with money, it isn't really like a complex calculation game. It's simpler and sometimes, honestly, a bit brutal. It's a game of behavior.
Exactly. And the paradox that sort of guides our whole analysis today is this. How could a super educated, certified genius CEO lose absolutely everything, while, say, a gas station attendant quietly ends up with an 8-figure fortune? So our mission here is to dig into the psychological, the behavioral traits that seem to prove patience, humility. They matter way more than your diplomas or how good you are with spreadsheets.
We really need to look past all the charts, the jargon, and focus on those core human emotions, things like greed, fear, optimism, because those are the forces that actually drive financial outcomes.
Okay.
Both for individual saving up and across the whole global market picture.
So let's unpack that foundational story. The one that really highlights this contradiction between what you know and how you act. Our sources give us these two, perfectly contrasting figures.
Right. So on one side, you've got this highly successful, really intelligent executive.
Yeah.
His early success, it just fueled this massive ego.
Okay.
The story we looked at mentions his arrogance got so extreme, he actually found it amusing to, throw gold coins into the ocean.
Yeah.
Just for fun, symbolizing this sort of supreme, reckless confidence.
Throwing gold coins in the ocean. Wow. And let me guess, the ending wasn't great.
Well, no. Despite his, raw intelligence and that incredible head start, his arrogance just led him straight to losing every single thing. Ended up completely bankrupt.
His genius was just totally canceled out by his hubris.
Pretty much. Now, contrast that with Ronald Read. Just a simple man. He was a gas station attendant, a cleaner, lived a life of extreme modesty.
No frills.
None. No yachts, no complex investment schemes we know of. Just quiet, reliable routine, cleaning floors, cutting his own firewood.
Okay, and here's the part that just blows your mind, right? The kicker.
Exactly. When Ronald Read passed away, this quiet, unassuming man who just lived his routine, he left behind a personal fortune of over $8 million.
$8 million? How?
He built that up over decades. Just simple saving and quiet compounding. And then he donated most of it back to his local library and hospital.
That's pretty definitive proof, isn't it?
It really is. The difference maker wasn't the IQ points, it was the behavior. Read's patience, his discipline. It proved exponentially stronger than that CEO's genius and, well, his greed.
You mentioned compounding there. For anyone maybe less familiar, can you just quickly explain what quiet compounding means in this context? Is it just interest on interest, basically?
It is exactly that, yeah, but its power is often really underestimated. Compounding is like an engine where the earnings you make on your investments, they start to generate their own returns.
Right.
So it's not linear growth, adding a bit each year. It's exponential. The money you made back in year 5 starts adding to the growth in year 6 and then year 7 and so on. Over time, it looks less like addition and more like multiplication.
Okay.
And that patience, the kind Ronald Read clearly mastered, just allows that exponential process to really take off, to run wild almost.
Okay, so if behavior, especially patience, is the foundation and compounding is the result, then we absolutely have to talk about the one ingredient that makes compounding truly powerful: time.
Yes. And to illustrate just how overwhelmingly powerful time is, maybe even more than talent, we have to look at the ultimate case study, Warren Buffett.
The Oracle of Omaha. Everyone knows he's incredibly wealthy, right? Sitting on, around $84.5 billion today. It's just a massive, almost impossible number to grasp.
It really is.
Yeah.
But here's the statistic that just changes the whole narrative. $81.5 billion of that enormous fortune was accumulated after he turned 65.
Wait, say that again? After 65.
After 65. Think about what that means. Nearly all of his wealth came after the traditional retirement age.
Wow.
Let's run a quick thought experiment.
Yeah.
What if Buffett had started investing at, say, age 30, but then retired at 60 like a, typical successful person might?
Okay.
His net worth, it would only be about $11.9 million.
Okay, wait. $11.9 million if he stopped at 60. which still sounds amazing, obviously.
Right.
But just by keeping it going, he ended up with $84.5 billion. That means stopping early would have cost him over 99.9% of his actual wealth.
Exactly. Over 99.9% gone. So his secret wasn't just being a quote-unquote smart investor.
It's time, sheer time.
It's the incredible amount of time he let that compounding engine run. Time just completely overwhelms raw skill, even really high rates of return sometimes.
And we can actually prove that point, can't we? By comparing Buffett to another, maybe less famous but equally brilliant investor, Jim Simons.
Right, Jim Simons, an absolute math whiz, runs Renaissance Technologies. He's achieved an average annual return, get this, of 66%.
66% per year. That's astronomical. That's like 3 times Buffett's historical average, isn't it?
It is 3 times higher. So logic would suggest Simons must be way richer, right? Triple the genius, triple the returns.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But the reality, Buffett is still about 75% richer than Simons.
That is genuinely shocking. How is that even possible? Consistency at a lower return beats triple the skill level.
The answer is just, well, it's simple. Buffett started investing years, decades earlier. That endurance, that extra decade or two he gave his investments to compound, it totally wiped out the advantage Simons had from his superior math brain and those incredible returns.
Wow.
It just proves it. Long-term time consistently beats short-term talent, even extraordinary talent.
That really forces a complete rethink, doesn't it, about how we spend our time learning about finance. It kind of suggests that learning to just be patient might actually be more valuable than learning advanced calculus for investing.
It really does seem that way sometimes.
But, okay, if time is the greatest advantage, you obviously have to stay in the game long enough for time to actually do its magic. And that sounds like it requires a huge psychological shift.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is where we have to separate 2 totally distinct skill sets. There's the skill of getting rich, and then there's the skill of staying rich.
Oh, okay. Different skills.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Getting rich often demands optimism, taking calculated risks, having the courage to jump on opportunities.
Makes sense, go-getter attitude.
Right. But the mindset you need for preservation, for staying rich, it almost the complete opposite. It demands profound humility. And crucially, what our sources call a healthy dose of fear.
Fear. Fear of what?
The fear of losing everything you've just worked so hard to build.
Ah.
And this contrast is, well, tragically shown in the story of Jesse Livermore, legendary stock trader, a true market genius in many ways.
I've heard the name. He made a killing in the 1929 crash, right?
A killing is an understatement. In 1929, during the crash, he made the equivalent of $3 billion in a single day. He was the absolute master accumulator.
$3 billion in a day.
Yeah.
But he couldn't hold on to it, could he? His genius had a fatal flaw.
It really did.
Yeah.
His incredible ability to get rich was totally overshadowed by his complete failure at staying rich. Preservation wasn't in his toolkit.
Why not? What went wrong?
His arrogance just took over. He thought he could repeat that magic trick endlessly, always raising the stakes, betting bigger and bigger. He lost everything, not just once, but multiple times in his life.
So a genius at getting rich, but a total failure at mastering the simple psychology needed to keep it.
Exactly. Failed completely at staying rich.
Which makes the most vital financial rule sound shockingly simple, though probably the hardest one to actually follow day to day.
What's that?
Just stay in the game. Avoid catastrophic loss. Avoid ruin at all costs. That's the absolute imperative, isn't it? Because if you just remain solvent, if you don't blow up. That's what allows that compounding engine we talked about to just keep running year after year, decade after decade.
It's the ultimate psychological hurdle, I think.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to respect the power of ruin, no matter how smart or successful you feel today.
Okay, so we've covered getting rich, the behavioral side, we've covered staying rich, the humility and fear part, but this still kind of begs a deeper question, maybe the foundation for all this effort. Why? Why are we even doing this? If the goal isn't just the biggest possible bank number or buying a yacht, what is the real value money provides?
Yeah, and this is where the material we looked at shifts a bit from pure finance more into psychology. There was a psychologist named Angus Campbell. He studied what people are really after when they chase wealth.
And what did he find?
His answer boiled down to a single, really powerful word: control.
Control. Control over what exactly? Your spending.
More fundamental than that. Control over your own life, your time, your choices. Feeling like you have control over your daily schedule, what you do, who you spend time with, your future direction. That feeling is shown to be a stronger predictor of happiness than pretty much any physical thing.
Stronger than salary, stronger than the size of your house.
Stronger than salary, stronger than house size, even stronger than the kind of car you drive. That feeling of autonomy.
So the highest form of wealth isn't necessarily buying luxury goods. It's the ability to just wake up in the morning and genuinely say to yourself, I can choose what I do today. I decide who I spend my time with.
That's exactly it. Money, at its best, is the tool that buys you control over your time and your choices. It's an instrument for freedom.
Okay.
The real objective isn't necessarily buying more things to impress other people. It's about buying the freedom to live the life that actually suits you, free from external rules or someone else's expectations.
That puts a really neat bow on this whole deep dive, doesn't it?
Right.
Financial success, it seems, isn't really about IQ points. It's about these behavioral traits, patience, humility, that emotional restraint to respect the possibility of ruin.
Mm-hmm. And it's about leveraging that incredible, almost unbelievable power of time, letting time work for you, often overpowering raw talent.
It completely shifts the focus, doesn't it? From just accumulating the biggest possible net worth to accumulating autonomy, freedom.
Yeah. Money, in its highest form, it's just a mechanism, a tool to buy back the one resource you absolutely cannot make more of, your time.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with maybe the final, crucial question that our sources really pose. When you make financial decisions, big or small, are you playing your own game? Are you using rules and goals defined by your desire for control, for autonomy, for that freedom we talked about?
Or are you, maybe unknowingly, playing someone else's game? Chasing that $3 billion day like Livermore, or maybe embodying that arrogance of throwing gold coins in the ocean, goals that were maybe never truly aligned with what you actually want, which might just be freedom.
Defining your own game, figuring out what winning means for you, that really seems like the crucial first step towards achieving real, sustainable psychological wealth.